In October 2019, I traveled to the Green River in Utah with my brother and several really good friends. It was an adventure I will never forget. This was my first trip to the Green River, but it wouldn't be my last. 6 days and 5 nights of canoe camping was absolutely wonderful, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have done this fun adventure with everyone. We experienced nice weather and beautiful sunsets, did some hiking, and enjoyed this stunning and awesome area. While we were still on this trip, I was already planning my next adventure back to the Green River. This amazing place will always be a part of me. I felt truly connected. We even hiked from the Green River to some rock arches about 3 miles away from our camp. Now I have the opportunity to do this trip again. Join me for a new 7-part series as I return to the Green River. Today's video adventure starts at Texas Riverways in Moab, Utah. This is the company that provided all our rental gear, as well as provided transportation to take us down to the Green River at Ruby Ranch. But first, a random deer walked by early in the morning, so I thought I'd get some video of it for you. This is not an unusual occurrence in these southwest mountain towns. I just took it as a good sign. So here's the van and the trailer that will take us to the Green River. We had all our gear packed away and ready to go. You can see it was quite organized, and we had a lot of gear, but we were ready to travel to the Green River. So here's Matt, the Southwest backpacker, and me on our way to the Green River. After about a 90-minute drive, we land at Ruby Ranch at the drop-off point. We got all the canoes loaded and ready to go for our first day of journey on the Green River. 7 days and 6 nights of an awesome adventure. All right, the float has officially began on the Green River 2021. The folks are up here behind me. I'll show you here in a second. They're getting ready to launch here in just a moment. River current's taking me. Those guys will be back here in a second. Maybe I should boat back up to them for a moment. Solo Canoe 2021. Heading down the Green River in Utah. Beautiful day, sun shining. It's a slight little cool breeze. Just can't complain. Why would I want to? Awesome. So we begin our journey on the Green River for 7 days and 6 nights of a grand adventure. We take our casual float on the first day and stick to the shady parts of the river. The air is cool and nice. It's a beautiful day for traveling. Look at these rock formations. Ah yes, the Green River. A true paradise, right here in the southwestern United States. It's a place where you can put your hat off and have a brain thought or two. Maybe even look up at the sky. I know it looks like the river is green. That's because it really is. The Green River lives up to its name. But what the Green River doesn't tell you until you're there is how peaceful and nice this place really is. Every bend of the river leads to a different view, and they're all absolutely amazing. Also, being in the shade a little bit doesn't hurt. Now this view is very familiar to me. I remember this spot of the river 2 years ago, specifically because over here, there's 2 boulders. Each one has a tree growing out of it. And I just remember that specific spot because it's beautiful and interesting. The tree on the left boulder's like a bonsai tree. It's all twisted and turned. The one on the right boulder's still kind of young, but yeah, I totally remember this spot from 2 years ago. Yes, 2 years ago, I went by the exact spot right now where I'm at with my brother Daniel. He couldn't make it on this journey, but he was still here with us in spirit. the sunny beautifulness of the rocks. Oh man, I love finding some shade out here. It's a little bit warm today, probably 85-ish it's gonna be. So the shade's feeling particularly nice right about now. Yes, yes, yes. And just a minute ago, back before there was rock on the left-hand side, there was a shoreline and some trees, and I saw a beaver. I literally floated about 4 feet from it. It was on the shoreline, and then it went under the water before I could get the camera out. But it was the closest I've ever been to a beaver, and it was a big, healthy one. It was pretty awesome. You know, I'm solo in my canoe on this trip. Unfortunately, my brother couldn't make it. He had to work. But I'm also solo on the river right now. Everybody's so far ahead of me, I can't see anybody anywhere, so I better turn. Looks like the shallow water is coming up on my right. It's warm out today. I'm feeling it a little bit. Plus, paddling alone in a heavy boat is a lot of work. But, I mean, what a beautiful place. I mean, all around me is just incredible. It might be a lot of work, but it's totally worth it every single time. I am truly and honestly alone on this river right now. Maybe when I get around this next bend to the right, I'll see everybody again, but for now, there's no one in front of me, and there's no one behind me. Just me, the river, the rocks, the sky, and the animals. All right, heading up to Canoe Cove here. Hopefully it's not taken by other campers and we can have at it, because I'm tired. Okay, once we got to Canoe Cove, there was a little offshoot creek here. It's very shallow. We got stuck a couple times, but we floated up this direction. And now 3 of the canoes are here. We're gonna unload them all and head up this direction, up there by those trees. Let me zoom in for you. Those big shade trees up there. There's a campsite somewhere, so time to start bringing gear up. All right, folks, I'll be honest with you. That was a tough first day so far. I was mentally prepared to canoe alone, but physically it's a whole nother story, and I'm feeling it. It's gonna be good to sleep tonight for sure. All right, I'm already out of breath. We just started unloading the boats. As fun and relaxing as this is, it still is work. But check this out. This is one of the spots where we can set up camp at. Nicely shaded and good. There he is, we made it. Southwest Backpackers told me many stories about this place, and I finally get to see it. This is like the gateway into my campsite. I'll show it to you here in just a minute. But first, a few beautiful shots of the surrounding area. I was falling in love with Canoe Cove. What a perfect place to set up camp. I was truly a happy camper. This tree is the gateway to my tent. You can see back there where I'm going to be camping at tonight. Let's go take a closer look. Oh boy, it's hot today. Plus we're working hard, but found a place that's pretty shady with a big tree here. So hopefully this will stay in the shade today, because I'd like to take a little nap in here and it won't be too hot. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.com. This was a great campsite. As I looked through the tree, I saw that my camp was in the shade of this beautiful and massive tree. And look at the surrounding area, totally beautiful. A little while later, we played a board game called Ticket to Ride London. It was a good time. I have this game at home as well. It's a blast to have. Thanks, Terry, for bringing it. And now some beautiful shots of the surrounding area and the plant life. A little while later, the guys got the campfire going in the fire pan, and they were about to make dinner, which tonight was going to be hamburgers. Can't go wrong with a good hamburger in the great outdoors. So we all enjoyed the later part of the day as the sun was setting. Matt here was supervising the food. Thanks, Matt, the Southwest Backpacker. You're a good friend and a cook. So as evening came upon us, we saw the sun going down between these two rocks in the canyon. It was truly a beautiful sight. Glorious indeed. A little later in the day, we're about to have dinner, but I had to come back down here to get a couple supplies out of the cooler. But yeah, look at all these awesome canoes back here. Beautiful. After the sun had set behind the canyon walls, we realized that all our camps were in the shade, and it was starting to cool off and feel very, very nice. I was truly thankful to be able to have this campsite. I knew that later I'd have a good night's sleep here. Oh man, the hike through here is kind of intense. Really heavily grown over. I thought this went down to the river, but I'm starting to be not sure. Ow. This is totally creepy and unreal. Wow. Flower. Wow. This had been a great start to the first day of my 7-day adventure on the Green River. What a beautiful camp spot, great dinner, and beautiful views everywhere. Alright, night is upon us. It's very early evening right now. Camp is down there, well, at least base camp is down there in the woods where you see the fire going. We have a fire pan, of course, and we're going to go down and have a campfire experience before returning to our tents to get some sleep. Yes, yes, yes. It was the perfect end to the perfect day. I was relaxed and happy, as was the team. And of course, what evening wouldn't be complete without a little slow motion campfire? This had been another beautiful experience, and it was only day one. My mind wandered and thought about many different subject matters, but mostly it was reflecting on the time I was spending here with friends around the campfire on day one of the Green River. It's been a great start to our 7-day, 6-night journey as we enjoyed the campfire together. What an awesome day. Day 2 begins with a beautiful sunrise. After a good night of sleep, I woke up kind of achy in the muscles, so I have to get up and move around to feel a little better. But this is a great way to start the morning. Return to the Green River. Chapter 2. Trin Alcove to Inscription Camp. Alright, quick camp walkthrough. Heading over to break down the gear so we can get on the river to get to our next camp. But I wanted to share this with you guys first. I camped pretty far away from everybody. It's nothing personal. I just sometimes like to be a little further away because I snore and I don't want to keep people awake. Alright. So on the way over to the tent, which you can see through the tree there, beautiful canyon. I mean, really, how can you go wrong? I don't believe you can. All right, Going through the gate, the gateway. I'll say I slept in here pretty good last night. Got 8 hours probably. It was nice. Never got too cold. Did have to put the sleeping bag on at one point, but a little out of breath already because I've been busy this morning already. So we're gonna break down the gear and get on the river. Please leave no trace of your visit so others can enjoy this beautiful place too. There is no cell phone service within the canyon, although I had no problem connecting with loved ones with my Garmin GPS unit. There's a beaver up there in the woods, just came out of the water. I don't know if we're gonna get a sight of it or not, but second one on the trip I've seen, one yesterday and one today. Didn't see him, he took off in the woods. Thanks guys, good morning to all. It's gonna be a glorious day. Still getting my timing and rhythm going, but seems to be working. Oh, such a nice morning so far. Sun hasn't gotten us yet. It's nice and cool out. I'm in a short sleeve because I'm pretty hot from just loading the boat and packing up gear and loading boats, you know. It's all part of the adventure. We continued onward into the unknown. The rock was beautiful as we felt connected to the area. I knew I was fortunate to be here, and I was not going to take any of this for granted. I wanted to take it all in. I wanted to be a part of it all. I could hear the rocks, the trees, the wind, and the sky talking to me. And they were all saying the same thing. Respect us, and you are welcome here anytime. Respect I did, and I felt truly thankful to be welcomed here. I left the paddling parts of my video a little longer in this chapter because it was the longest day of canoeing we did out of the 7. I believe we canoed right around 14 miles this day, and it took about 4.5 hours. And I'll tell you, by the end of it, I was wiped out. But I was still having a great time because how can I complain? Look where I'm at. I'm on the Green River. Even if you're paddling for 4.5 hours, you're still outdoors in a beautiful place. Awesome. The blue skies seemed more blue than usual, and I was feeling the energy of this place like a spiritual connection, and I felt fortunate to be here. The landscape felt so alive and full of intense colors. I couldn't help myself. I continued capturing video of everything. All around me was some beautiful landscape, and I wanted to take it all in while I was here. I love to capture nice moments and experiences, and then I have it documented and I can edit it down as a memory to share. This was a trip I would never forget. Whoa, an airplane flying that low? What the heck? Something you don't see very often. Never seen an airplane down that low in the canyon like that. That's crazy. But I will say it was kind of exciting to see.
A GPS and a map along with good navigation skills are strongly recommended. This area can be extremely hot during spring, summer, and fall, so carry plenty of water and wear appropriate clothing. And don't forget to bring a first aid kit just in case. One last thought. No amount of gear is guaranteed to make a hike 100% safe. Only good judgment and experience can help with that. So enjoy, be safe.
Check out that big bird just standing at the shore. Some kind of heron, probably. But only about 50 feet from me. Beautiful critter. Must be warming up in the sun. That's why it's not taken off yet. Oh, it just turned its head. It just turned its head. Well, we've been up and paddling for about an hour. Probably gone a couple miles down the river or so. We're not in a hurry. We're just taking our time and meandering and just enjoying this beautiful scenery and the nice cool weather here in the morning. It's always a plus to be paddling on the river when the temps are lower. My narration voice. On the river again. I just can't wait to get on the river again. Canoeing with all my friends. I can't wait to get on the river again. On the river again. Like a band of canoeists, we go down the water. I suppose there's probably a variety of reasons why people would come out and do a trip like this. Whether it be canoe camping or backpacking or car camping or, you know, anything that has the word camping attached to it. And for me personally, I think of being out here as medicine. Medicine for the soul, medicine for the heart, and medicine for the mind. And for me personally, I have to get out here and just be here and relax and step away from the concrete jungle. I always say when I go out into the wilderness like this that I'm coming out here to recharge my batteries to deal with the concrete jungle. Because I'm not happy living in a city. It's just too crowded and there's too much craziness. It doesn't matter what city you're in and what part of the world, any big city is going to have its fair share of problems. And so it's nice to get out here and step away and just forget about all that insanity for a little bit and be on a peaceful river in a canoe. Now, this is not the only type of medicine that I get. You folks who watch my channel on a regular basis, you know that I backpack, I car camp, and I just do a variety of things that include being outside And being out 24/7 like this is awesome. I mean, 7 days, 6 nights, you're not going to be inside one single time. Inside your tent maybe, but still, you're sleeping in great outdoors in a beautiful place. Good friends, good family, good food. And of course, the campfire experience every night is always special to me. I like sitting around that campfire and shooting the breeze with my friends and my family. It's truly and awesomely a beautiful thing. You know, the river changes shape pretty much every year. You can see up ahead of me there's a little sandbar, and I thought that might be our beach camp from day 1 of 2019, but I'm not 100% certain because, you know, those beaches change from year to year. It just depends on how much water comes through here. So not sure if that was our first camp there or not from 2019.
As I canoed down the canyons on the Green River, I looked around in wonder and amazement. This place was incredibly beautiful. This was my second time coming here, and I was glad to return to the Green River, but it still felt like a first-time experience to me. We camped in different places every night. I saw things that I didn't remember from last time, and it was completely new and fun the entire time. As the miles passed beneath the boat, I felt an extreme closeness with this land. It's as if I've been here more than twice. It feels like home in a lot of ways. Now I know it looks rugged, and it would probably be actually hard to survive and live down here full time, but sure is great getting to be here for 7 days and 6 nights with some great people, and solo canoeing was very interesting. And I felt like mentally I was prepared to do it. I didn't think twice about it. I just thought, okay, I can do this, no problem. And to be honest with you, I'm really happy that I was able to do it. It's the first time I've solo canoed for several days in a row like that, so I really got a good feel for the boat. And me, being the controller of that boat, it was a bond that I'll never forget.
James, put in right here. Do not get back.
Okay. Thanks, brother.
Okay, we've stopped here for a little bit to see if this is indeed Oak Camp. You can see 3 of the 4 canoes are here. The other one's just down there. But we're hoping that Oak Camp is somewhere back up in here. We call it Oak Camp because when we camped here 2 years ago, there's a bunch of oak trees that offer a bunch of beautiful shade. And we're going to be here at Oak Camp for the next 2 days, layover day. Awesome.
The land is just as wild and rugged today as it ever was, and that all camping is primitive. There are no established sites or facilities here. Inscription Camp is not on the map that I have, but there are some historic inscriptions here on the rock, as well as some probably more modern day graffiti stuff. But it was interesting, and you can see by the rock face here, that's why we called it Inscription Camp. Here's me being asked if I wanted to play a board game. Of course I did. We played Meeple War. And actually, it was my first time playing Meeple War, but I enjoyed it so much, I found a copy later after I got home and purchased it for myself. And I'll play it a little bit later. Meanwhile, it was a beautiful day. And I will say this, camping is a lot of work, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I absolutely love everything about camping and plan to continue for years to come.
Awesome!
All right, folks. That was great to freshen up there in the water a little bit. I was really hot. And I'll tell you what, that'll cool you off quick. I'm gonna head back up to camp now and change my clothes and prepare for an afternoon and evening of relaxing. So over here are the steps that had been carved in the sand that were here when we got here that lead up to the trail that goes into camp. So let's get started. My shoes are making weird noise because they're full of water. Ugh. We didn't find Oak Camp, but we found another good camp here. It's just as awesome in its own way. Matter of fact, there's a little trail over here to the left. And you see there's some gear down there. That's where Matt, the Southwest Backpacker, is going to camp tonight. Whew. But back here is camp. Over here to the left are some inscriptions that are, some of them are very historical. So I'll feature those to you a little bit later. Here's base camp where everybody's hanging out. And then our tents are kind of dispersed throughout the forest. Let's go take a look at mine. Here's base camp a little closer up. You turn to the right, there's a trail that goes this way. This is back where my tent is at.
This campsite was amazing, and I couldn't stop smiling. The weather was perfect, and so was this spot.
This will be a long walk from the campfire to the tent tonight, but it'll be totally worth it. Wanted to be set up in the trees and in the shade in case I wanted an afternoon nap. I could chill out in the tent and it wouldn't be too hot. So I came all the way back here to find a good spot. But once I did, I knew it was home for the next 2 days. Kind of deceiving. It's like, where's the tent? There it is. All right. This will be home for the next couple days. Sorry, let me get a picture.
As I sat there and caught my breath, I looked around in wonder and felt truly fortunate to be alive. What a great day. best rewards come from honest hard work. Sometimes the amount of work ahead of us seems overwhelming. So just think about that next step, that next section of forest, that next stream crossing. Take one step at a time, and before you know it, there you are. Remember that life is a journey, not a destination. True beauty comes from within, and life is whatever you make it. A little while later, the sun had set and darkness had taken over the landscape. We gathered around the campfire for added warmth as the temperature started to drop. We had good conversations about past backpacking adventures and various camping meals we'd eaten. The Milky Way will be as bright as you've ever seen it. If you don't leave here a happier person, then stay another night or two. I felt like a happy camper the entire
Day number 3, Green River Adventure. Morning is here. It's a beautiful day already.
I wandered back down the hillside and took my time as I was really enjoying this spot. Peaceful place with a lot of quiet where you can really get inside your head and think. My thoughts were numerous, and my mind felt like this moment right now was possibly a nice dream. Or, at the very least, a great memory in the making. This place was putting me in a great mood, and I felt like celebrating life again. What a great day. I enjoyed wandering through the forest like this, and I have ever since I was a kid. Nothing will keep me away from the wilderness. As I continued my short hike to the water, I was feeling the beauty of this area take over my wild spirit. I felt the animal within start to awaken. This was an amazing place, and I felt incredibly thankful to be here.
All right, folks, went out this morning in the Canoe right there with a 360 camera. And if it worked out, you'll see it on my channel eventually. And right now, it's a beautiful morning. I'm glad I did that before it got too hot.
Matt, the Southwest backpacker, continued to fly the drone over me. And wait for a moment here, folks, because he pulls this drone up in the air and you get a view of our camp and the surrounding canyon land, and it's absolutely beautiful. I have to thank Matt, the Southwest backpacker, that's him right there on the shore, for providing such awesome footage and allowing me to be able to use this in my channel, because this is beautiful. So I'm just going to shut up and let you watch.
Matt, the Southwest Backpacker. He is doing dronification this morning, which I might get some of that this afternoon myself too. This seems like a good place to take off from. Big clearing here at the beach.
So a little backstory about me and Matt the Southwest Backpacker. I had discovered his channel on YouTube a few years ago. Way before he even had a drone, he was making these cool backpacking videos. But then we go out to the Green River and he's been flying a drone for a few years now, and you can see he gets these amazing shots.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
At least that's what I tell myself every time I go to the wilderness. But I'm not complaining about the journey. That's the part I love the most. I felt stronger this morning and had a good rhythm going as I hiked down the trail. I could feel my hiker legs coming alive in the early morning air. On our way up, we passed many interesting rock formations. The hiking was rugged but rewarding. We continued onward as a team as the sun started to shine overhead. I had to stop again and take more photos. I couldn't stop smiling as I did. I was smiling so much that my face was starting to hurt. The trees here were intense and beautiful. Wow, this was an amazing place and I felt incredibly thankful to be here. This campsite was amazing and I couldn't stop smiling. The weather was perfect and so was this spot. The skies were clear and a very intense blue. I felt once again in tune with this beautiful and vast landscape.
Alright, I like to bushwhack a lot, get off the trail. I am following something that has trail-like qualities, but I don't think this is human. It's probably a game trail. But there's some nice spots back here though. It's about, I don't know, half-mile south of our camp. Man, this is beautiful. Nice and cool in the shade too. You do have to be careful though, because when you're bushwhacking you can get some cuts occasionally, so I'm gonna have to clean that up here in a minute. Wow. Alright, this is a really nice grove of oak trees here. Very cool. Lots of shade, patches of sun too. I think what I'm going to do is hike further up the canyon, which is this way, and kind of head around the river a bit, just see what's up there. But I'd like to come back here again on my way back and just have a relaxed session here. Sit down on the ground and just chill out and enjoy this fine shade and oak trees here, because this is awesome.
A little while later, we discovered another campsite in the forest. This was yet another really sweet spot to camp for a day or even an entire week. We explored the forest nearby and I felt a true connection to this place once again. My wild spirit was feeling alive and curious about what's next in this awesome wilderness. My heart felt full and happy as the wilderness released the shackles of humanity and I became one with the forest. I was having one of those moments where I felt truly thankful to be alive. The rhythm of our boots on the trail was feeling unrestricted and free. The beauty of the rock was intense and awesome, so I continued up the trail a little further to explore this awesome area.
On Mars right now. At least that's what I imagine parts of Mars might look like.
Stars indeed. Or Utah. What an awesome place. These beautiful blue skies and these red rocks. It just doesn't get any better than this, folks. So I continued my hike onward around the rock face just to see what was here. I mean, why not? If you're gonna have a layover day, then you should hike around and explore and just, get some good video. Find some spots to have some shade and hang out and have some lunch. Obviously, I'm not in the shade here, but you can see there's a lot of shade available nearby. The beauty of this place is mesmerizing. I couldn't stop staring in all directions. I was definitely rubbernecking the entire time. Everywhere I looked was this intense beauty and this awesome, intense rock. I don't even know how to say it any better except here I am, there I was, and here we will always be. I continued my hike into freedom and beauty. It was like poetry in motion. Rocks, plants, canyons, blue skies, greenery everywhere.
Just saw 2 deer ran right through here. They came from up in here somewhere. I must have startled them. Sorry, guys. I'm definitely in a bit of a bushwhack here. Off trail again, as usual. I do not know where those deer would be. Disappear so quickly, like magic. Not my cat, but real magic, like magicians do.
Be prepared. Plan ahead and prepare for your visit. Let someone know of your plans and consider the weather.
I just came from there, and now I'm back in the woods again. Lots of these oak groves here. Almost like growing down here by the river. Boy, leaves are just piled up big time. Nicely shaded in here. Feels a lot cooler than out in the sun. That much is clear.
On this day, we had a very rare treat in the wilderness, homemade ice cream. Terry bought this thing online where you put ice and rock salt on one side of the ball and the cream and sugar on the other side, and it makes ice cream as you throw it around. Terry brought a variety of toppings for everyone, and I had a brownie, but he also brought a lot of fruit for everyone too, to try different things. It was really yummy. Thank you, Terry, for bringing that and having a nice, sweet, cool treat on a hot afternoon. And of course, a little time lapse never hurts either. I'm not sure how long I rolled on that time lapse. Must have been 20 minutes maybe, and then I sped it up like 5,000%. This was a good campsite here. I really enjoyed this spot. As you can see, a boat just went by in time-lapse mode there. I actually talked to those folks for a few minutes. They had a really cool raft with a shade on top. And then the inscriptions here at Inscription Camp. If you're ever in the Green River, stop and look these over. Some of these are historic, dating back to 1909. Some of them are more modern day, unfortunately, but it's interesting nonetheless. It's neat to be near something that over 100 years ago someone else stood here and carved their name in here, way before this was a popular tourist area and a camping area. People were out here exploring when it was truly a rugged wilderness still, which it still is, but back then it wasn't as explored as it is now. So I took a lot of pictures here for you because I wanted you to see what kind of variety of inscriptions were on this rock. Apparently this rock is not that hard because they made some pretty good inscriptions here that look precise to me. And of course, if you look up this guy's name, there's a lot of history with him on this river and his boat. So look him up online. I don't know how to pronounce it, otherwise I would pronounce it for you, but it's the guy's name on the right. And evening came upon us and we all retired to the base camp for a little bit of dinner and campfire experience. Terry brought these cool lights and you can see it really lit up the area around base camp. Really enjoyed this. Thank you everybody for an awesome experience. And of course, what campfire experience wouldn't be complete without some slow motion? I have no idea why I love this so much, I just do. Then I retired to my tent for the evening, where I think I got about 8 hours of solid sleep before we had to pack up and go the next morning. We were all up early in the morning and had our canoes almost entirely packed and ready to go. Before too long, we would start our journey down the Green River once again.
Good morning, folks. It's day 4. It's Tuesday. I'm up and paddling. It's about 7:15, 7:20 in the morning, so we got a nice early start before all the sun comes up and heats everything up. So I'm the first one on the water. The others are back here behind me, and they will be coming this direction very, very soon. I'm the slowest moving boat, so that's why we launched me first. And I'm the slowest moving, because I'm older, but also I'm in a canoe alone with a lot of gear. And not just my gear, but I have other gear in here too, so it's a heavy boat. It really is. That sunrise starting to come alive. Right, nice early morning here. It's still very cool out. It's around 7:30, 7:40. And I agree with those guys that getting up and paddling early like this is the way to go. There's a couple reasons for it. The first one is it's nice and cool out. The sun's not on the river yet, so you paddle before it gets hot. Which also means that you're going to get to camp and set up potentially before it gets hot. Another reason to get up early and paddle like this is most of the other campers on the river here are sleeping in a little later and then paddling later. So it gives us the opportunity to have access to more campsites because people are lollygagging at theirs, and we're going to go take the best sites if we can. I mean, that's the goal of every camper. Have the best campsite you can. See some shallow water to the right that I probably want to avoid. Bit of a shallow spot here. And we broke free, so now let's finish the turn. You can really see where the water's cut out the bottom of that rock over the years. Just the constant current.
a beautiful morning to canoe some miles down the Green River. I was really enjoying this amazing journey. Couldn't stop smiling as I did. And then to make it even better, a blue heron flew by. So here it is again for you in slow motion. This was absolutely an amazing thing to be able to witness. A little while later, I spotted another blue heron just downriver. And this one, as you can tell, I got a lot closer to it as I was canoeing by. We were having this sort of bonded animal-human moment that was peaceful. And then it decided to take off. And you'll see that here in just 1 second. Beautiful. And of course, here it is again in slow motion. Amazing. And I'm always amazed how they fly just above the water and never quite touch it. What a beautiful and awesome moment. Sometimes I feel like the most fortunate person in the world. I get to travel and do amazing things like this. A little while later, I was still canoeing. It was many miles today, but totally worth it. What a lot of fun.
Air is still very cool. We've been out on the river for about an hour and a half, maybe 90 minutes-ish. And doesn't feel like it's warmed up much, which is nice because it feels like air conditioning is on right now. Even though the sun's trying to come out, it's also a little cloudy right up where the sun is. You hear a frog in there. Anyway, I was having some thoughts about being here and doing what I'm doing, and we'll talk about those here in just a minute once this airplane goes by. All right, folks, it's day 4, probably 9 o'clock-ish, somewhere around there. Now, that's not really what I wanted to talk about that much. I really wanted to talk about some other stuff, like what I'm feeling right now as we're doing this. First thing, canoeing alone. It's not that bad. I do have complete control of the boat, and I'm doing a pretty good job keeping everything steady and straight. But it's a lot more work to move a canoe through the water, especially when it's full of gear, when you're completely alone in the boat. Having my brother here 2 years ago with me was such a huge deal for me. First of all, he's my brother, and I was glad we got to share a journey like this. But the second part is he was a huge help. The guy knows how to float down a river. He's been a kayaker for many years now, and we've canoed together in the past. And it sure did help to have another person in this boat paddling with me. Because right now, I am behind everybody again on canoeing because I'm just having a hard time keeping up. It's a little bit of a struggle, and that's mostly what I wanted to bring up right now. The struggle of doing a trip like this. Don't get me wrong, look where I'm at. I am absolutely not complaining about anything. I am extremely grateful to be able to come here and do this and be here with some really awesome friends. Thank you guys for bringing me again. I do sincerely appreciate being able to experience all this. Now, the struggle of doing a trip like this is it's physically demanding. This is what they call blind arch. And you can see there's definitely an arch already starting to form there. It's a pretty good size. You can definitely see it's starting to form and look almost like a perfect arch already. All right, I better stop yapping and start paddling because everybody's getting way far ahead of me and I need to make up some time here. So physically, these trips are exhausting. They're very rewarding. The payoff is the reward of being here. The ticket that you pay to get here is the exhaustion and the achy muscles. I'm incredibly thankful to get to do 7 days and 6 nights down the Green River. All right, continuing on the struggle that I was talking about. I guess that's going to be the theme of today's episode is going to be the struggle within, the struggle without. I'll tell you what, this type of vacation is a guaranteed weight loss vacation for me because, you know, you really hardly ever stop moving until you get to the campfire experience in the evening. And then you get to sit around the campfire in your chair and just relax, and everybody can tell stories and jokes and, you know, maybe have some sort of after dinner sweet treat, a dessert of sorts. That's the part right there that is part of my favorite, you know. Stopping and relaxing and just taking it all in is probably my favorite part of all of this. Green River, surrounded by red rocks everywhere. It's absolutely amazing. Continuing the struggle within, the struggle without. Now we've talked about the struggle without. That's the physical demanding parts of boating every day, hiking every day, and setting up gear every day. But what do I mean by the struggle within? Well, that's the mental part of it. The part where you get so exhausted, you think, how can I finish the other days of this trip when I'm this tired? And you got to find the mental fortitude to overpower that feeling of giving up. Not that I've gotten to that point yet, but I do feel the physical part of it, the struggle without, is mentally affecting the struggle within. And you got to find a balance just to keep yourself uplifted and moving forward, one stroke at a time. I'm not really sure how much further we are from B camp, but felt like we've already canoed a good distance, so I'm sure B camp is probably maybe another mile or two, and then the next part of the day begins. We've been canoeing for about 3 hours now, and I'm hoping that B camp's coming up soon because I'm starting to get really tired.
Fast forward 1 hour and about 3 more miles, and I'm still on my way to camp.
4 hours of canoeing this morning. It's been a pretty long journey so far. I'm starting to feel it, getting tired, a little worn out. But I think I see up ahead, half mile from here or so, what appears to be people and some canoes. And I'm hoping that they're my people and their canoes. So that means possibly I'm getting closer to B camp finally. Yeah, the closer I get to that area where I thought I saw canoes and people, the more it starts to look like canoes and people. Like I said, I hope it's my people and my friends' canoes, because then I'll be done with the boating part of the day. And don't get me wrong, canoeing is great, I love it, but it is a lot of physical work. You hardly stop paddling the whole entire time, especially on a river where you gotta keep yourself in a straight line as much as possible so you don't get stuck on a sandbar or some roots on the side of the river here. So yeah, it is what it is when it was what it was. As I'm getting closer, I definitely am starting to feel like these are my people with their boats. Matter of fact, I think I see Terry out there right now.
Just over 4 hours of canoeing this day, and a total of about 12 river miles to get to B Camp. But here I was finally, and you can see the crew had gotten here a few minutes before me, and they were starting to unload. But I wasn't sure how far they had gotten here before me, so I felt the need to ask them.
Hey guys, how far behind am I?
Like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh,
So I was only 10 to 15 minutes behind, thankfully. It felt like I was hours behind because I was moving so slow, but hey, slow moving on the river means your heart will be full and happy as you go along. So here we are, B Camp. I'll tell you, after getting to B Camp and unloading all our gear, I suddenly had a second wind. I wanted to explore this awesome and beautiful place. But we all took time to set up our gear, get our tents in place, and have our sleeping bags ready to go so that night we could sleep comfortably. So I'm going to take a little walk through the camp here, just kind of show you around. We camped here in 2019 as well. I always love this canyon here. Just a beautiful place, lots of sunshine and greenery all the way around. Just a fun place to camp. You can see my tent and the beautiful backdrop behind. The Green River is truly in my heart. I will always love this place and would love to come back here again in the future. If you're thinking of a canoe river trip, I highly recommend this one. It's very wild, lots of wilderness, great places to camp along the way, and obviously plenty of water if you know how to filter it correctly. What an awesome spot. I'm still blown away that I'm fortunate enough to have good enough friends to take me to places like this. The trail is beautiful. And of course the river and the Chamisa is also breathtaking. Such a beautiful place. I don't even know how to really put it truly into words of what it feels like to be here. The camera never does it justice. But you can get a little taste of what it's like to come and see the Green River in Utah. Wow. I love the American Southwest. There's something about the desert that just feels like home to me. I know it's a bit rugged and it's hard to survive in a place like this, but getting to come out here and canoe and camp for 7 days and 6 nights, it feels like you're in heaven. And if heaven is anything like this, I'll be a happy camper when I pass away from this world. Meanwhile, I just wandered around, got some beautiful shots of the surrounding area. I couldn't believe how awesome this was. The Green River does not disappoint. It's like living in a dream, but only better because it's real. And of course, Matt the Southwest Backpacker provided me some drone shots from up above. This is the Bonot Bend 7-mile loop.
nice, dude.
So Matt and I had taken a little hike in the afternoon, and he got some drone flying in. And here you can see both shots, the shot from the drone in the lower left-hand corner and the shot of me filming Matt flying the drone.
Nice, dude. Very awesome. I'll get this video to you then too, so you have a little behind the scenes.
Pan up, get the camera there. There you are. Oh, I got it all the way down. I got it the wrong direction. There we go. Like
Ew.
crazy. Oh, this will be nice. There he is.
Whoa.
Pan down.
A little while later, I decided to get barefoot and wander around camp. The sand here was soft, and there wasn't a lot of things that would stab you. So here I am, standing at the edge of impossible, or, more importantly, the reflection of the Green River with our canoes. What a beautiful day. I still feel like I'm in a dream. It's awesome. Tonight, we had chili dogs, courtesy of Terry and Matt. Thanks, guys. Always yummy. I gotta tell you, folks, this is awesome. I can't believe how fortunate I am to be able to come here and spend some time with friends here. The Green River, it's just a beautiful and awesome place. It's very peaceful. Helps you get yourself realigned to go back and deal with the concrete jungle. As I've said before, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the single step. And here I was, several steps into it and looking forward to the rest. And of course, what campfire experience wouldn't be complete without a little bit of campfire? Of course, we have our fire pan here that the guys always bring with them, and you have to have this on the Green River. It is a legal thing that you have to make sure you do it properly. Of course, the skies never disappoint. A little bit later in the day, got some unusual and fun-looking clouds here at our campsite at B Camp. We all sat by the campfire and shot the breeze and talked about fun things and enjoyed our time together as the sun began to set. As the evening came upon us and the sun started to set, the land started to come alive again, as it always does at this time of day. Of course, we're all sitting around joking and laughing and just having ourselves a grand time. And really, how can you not? Look how awesome this place is. Just peaceful and nice, and I really love being here. It's great. Of course, the sunsets are always amazing in the Southwest. Keep watching, because you're going to see this sunset get better and better. The colors were so vivid. The way the rock lit up in the afternoon sun was beautiful. And of course, the clouds always capture that sunset. It ends up looking like a painting and not a photograph. It was calm and nice over camp as the sun continued to set. We just enjoyed the beautiful colors as we sat around the campfire for another evening of fun and fellowship. After a night with several hours of light rain, we were all up and about. The early morning air was cool and felt very nice as we prepared to leave. We were getting our gear ready. It would be another nice day to go down the Green River. Alright, it's currently about 7 a.m. We're all up and getting ready to pack up our gear, but it rained pretty hard last night for a few hours. So everything is soaked. At least on the outside of the tents. Inside we stayed okay. But I'm gonna start breaking down this gear soon and get my day started. Yes. Here you can see the dry spot where my tent was at, and all the wet land around there from the night before when it rained. And of course, look how beautiful it is here. That beautiful early morning sunrise and the red
on these rocks as the morning light lit it all up in the blue of the sky, I just couldn't stop smiling. I was incredibly happy to be here, and I have to thank my friends for allowing me to go on this wonderful trip.
Well, good morning, Green River. Good to see you.
So we were bringing gear down to the canoes. It was decided to load my canoe up first so that I could get on the river before everybody else, because I'm slower moving as a solo canoeist having a heavy boat. So I took a break, took in the view for a moment, and the packing continued. And as I said, I was going to take off first here. Everybody had planned to do this so that I could get a head start since I was moving a lot slower than everyone else. Here we go. Good morning, Green River. Here I come. It's gonna be a beautiful day.
Thanks, guys. It's floating nicely. It's nicely balanced. The day has begun. It's Wednesday morning. So it's day 5. We're going to canoe about 10 miles today down to a place called Ledge Camp. But before we do that, we are going to pass the Bow Knot Bend and then do the Bow Knot Bend itself, which is 7 miles of our 10. First mile will be here down to the Bow Knot Bend, and then the 7 miles of the Bow Knot Bend, and then about 2 more after that to our camp. So 10 miles sounds like a lot right now because I'm tired and hurting, but yesterday we did 14 and we survived it somehow. So 10 today probably won't be as bad. But yeah, casual float today, 10 miles, Ledge Camp, and then a layover day there. We'll be there tonight and tomorrow night, and then Friday morning we pack up and head down the Mineral Bottom to take out. Okay, up ahead of me there a little bit in the river. Probably can't really make it out on camera, but there is a big bird walking from right to left toward the shore over by the trees there. I'm assuming it's probably one of those herons that we saw. We've seen 2 or 3 of them so far on this trip. This looks like one of them from here, but when I get a little closer, I'll try to get a better shot. I was right, it was one of those birds. You see it in the lower right-hand corner of screen there. Now it's boat's moving, so it's kind of heading toward the center of screen, but you can see the bird just walking through the water there at the shoreline. This must be a favorite place for them because I saw them 2 years ago when I was here, and I saw them this every day we've been here. We've seen them again. So nature as it happens. All right, this is looking back upriver from where I just came. I can still see the team up there on the shoreline. I haven't done much paddling at all. I've just kind of floated down the river, so I'm not too far ahead of them yet. They let me go first because I'm paddling alone, and it's taken me a little longer to do the journey than it is for them with two people paddling. So every day I've gotten loaded up first and set out on my journey to give me a little bit of a head start so that I don't get too far behind them when it comes to getting to camp. So beautiful morning, the air is cool. I'm in the shade. That helps keep the air cool for now. Heading down to the Bow Knot Bend and then Ledge Camp after that. That is exactly what I am talking about. A couple ravens over here on the shore. They're eating something. Can't tell if it's something man-made food or if it's something that they got that's natural, but it's actually still kind of chilly out here this morning, especially when you're in the shade for a while. Of course, I'm only wearing a t-shirt, but I am working here and paddling, so kind of warming up the muscles. Ooh, a little bit of a breeze coming up the canyon right now. Nothing that's affecting the boat in the water at all, but it's a chilly breeze. I'm actually feeling a little cold. I may have to do a long sleeve here in a little bit. You know, it's interesting coming on this trip for a second time. It's the return to the Green River. And this trip's slightly different for me because the first time I came here, I was with my brother Daniel. He sat in the front seat and I sat in the back here. And we paddled together, and man, it sure did help to have an extra set of arms in this boat with me. But I will say there is something about the solo part of it that's kind of neat. First of all, you have to be very self-reliant. I mean, there's nobody's going to save you or help you turn the boat or paddle it. You got to be 100% on your own on this. And the one thing I found yesterday, canoeing 14 miles, that was rough, doing it alone. It was really, really tiring and exhausting. And then toward the end of it, I really started to feel almost, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but kind of desperate or nervous, something like that, where it felt like it was never going to end, and paddling alone all that time for 14 miles was a lot to do. And I started to mentally almost give up. And that was one thing I mentioned yesterday on the videos, was you have to have the struggle within and the struggle without, but you also have to have the strength within and the strength without. So physically you have to be able to pull off this strength-wise, but mentally, up here in your mind, you got to keep your brain in a good position and in a good mood, because it's awesome being out here, but physically it's demanding, and you really start to feel it when you're alone in a boat, especially a fully loaded boat full of gear like this. Yesterday, toward the end of that paddle, it was about 4.5 hours of paddling, I really started to feel my mental state start to slip a bit, where I was physically so exhausted that I was literally starting to become like I was starting to get into a bad mood. And that's not cool. This is a place for good moods and beauty and relaxing. Even if you're getting buzzed around by bugs all the time, it's still a beautiful place. And really, the bugs haven't been that bad. There's these little gnats that are kind of flying around me now. It's a big swarm of them. And then there was some flies at camp last night that were deciding to land on us a little bit here and there, but can't complain. That's pretty minor stuff in the big picture. It's all right. Got a good timing and rhythm going. I think I'm coming up to the Bow Knot Bend here in just a few minutes. I'm probably not going to climb it this year, but I will show you a little flashback of the video from 2 years ago, so you can still kind of see what it looks like. All right, so we're almost to the top of the Bow Knot Bend here, the part where we can see both rivers. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Lots of climbing. Definitely out of breath. All right, here's the gap. We came up from down there at the river, and now you can see the river here, and then the river 7 miles away over here. It's a big loop to get back to this point. Awesome.
The views from the top of the Bow Knot Bend were amazing. I had dreamed of being here for almost a decade, and now here I was. and it was even better than I imagined.
All right, there you go, folks. This part of the river on the right is the one we're going down, and after a 7-mile loop, we'll be on this one on the left. Can't believe it. It's just so incredibly beautiful. I would say if you're a newbie to hiking, you haven't done a lot of rugged hikes, this is definitely not the hike for someone who's not experienced. This thing is rugged and on the edge on both sides. One false move and you're gonna be hurting pretty bad. It's a physically demanding climb. It's a hike and a climb at the same time to get up to the top of that thing. And I kind of rather reserve that energy for the paddling, because I'm realizing when you are physically pushing yourself for, I don't know, close to 10 or 12 hours in a day where you almost don't stop moving, you find out that you have a limit as far as energy is concerned. You have a reserve, and once it's used up, you're borrowing from tomorrow. And that's not good, because that's how you age yourself and how you get older quicker and beat yourself down. Trust me, I've had 50 years of doing that to myself. That's why I look older than I actually am. And I feel older than I actually am. But life is beautiful if you know where to look. So keep your eyes, your heart, and your mind open, and it just might lead you to someplace awesome. Like here, the Green River in Utah. Oh, there's the sun. Feels nice. That high rock right there toward center frame, that's where the Bonot Bend begins as far as the canoe part starts there. The lower part to the right is the actual spot that you can climb up to. Right there in the lower areas, you can hike up there and you can see the river is only 2/10 of a mile from here behind that wall. But you have to go down here past that tall rock and do a 7-mile loop in order to come back to basically where you almost started, which is just on the other side of this wall right here. So yeah, Bonot Bend is awesome. It begins, and you can see just to the right of that big rock, there's a little rock spire by itself. When you hike up to the top of that thing, you get up to that area, and then you can hike to the right along the ridge. It's a pretty cool hike. We were up there 2 years ago. Like I said, I'll show you some flashback videos from 2019. I'm not going to hike it this time. It's just a little bit too much work for me. But I've been up there before, and I've signed the registry box, or signed the register in the box, I mean. So there it is, Bonot Bend. So I got 7 miles around this thing, and then 2 more miles approximately after that to camp. So I'm a mile in so far. There's some debris coming up in the river, so I better start paddling and paying attention. So there you go, Bonot Bend. We love you. Thank you for being here and being awesome. Okay, 1 mile down, 7 to go. Well, that's just 7 around the Bonot Bend, but then about another 2 miles to camp after that. So technically 1 mile down, 9 miles to go. 10% of it's already done. And the Bonot Bend is up here to my right, and I'm looking at it and I can't believe I climbed up there 2 years ago. I don't even see a trail. It just looks like vertical rock to me, but we found a way up it last time, and it was somewhat safe. It was intense, but safe. there's the bow knot part you climb up to right behind me there. It's amazing to think you have to do 7-mile loop to get back to where you almost began, within 2/10 of a mile of where you started. I'm not complaining. This is a beautiful 7-mile stretch, and it's very special. Holds a place in my heart forever. Matt told me to follow the foam. That's what I plan on doing. This canyon looks like it would be a cool place to camp and explore. Here about 2 miles into the Bow Knot Bend probably. There's a couple of nice big trees over there as well that would probably offer shade for camp. So I'm gonna have to look this up on the map because it looks really neat. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program. All right, up ahead of me is a sandbank. So it looks like I'm gonna have to go river left. Go around that. Got warm today. It's still chilly. The breeze keeps coming in and it's really messing with the canoeing. Why does it always have to be in your face? If the wind was coming from behind, it sure would be helpful.
And here are my good friends Matt and Terry. Matt is the Southwest Backpacker from the YouTube channel, and Terry is the team leader on all these trips. So thank you guys both for bringing me with you and passing on the knowledge and the beauty of the Green River. Wind's been a little rough coming around the Bow Knot Bend, just like last time. I don't think it's as intense as last time, but it's definitely hindering the boat movement for me. And if I get the boat turned too far into
into the wind, it'll just push me sideways like a big sail. Anyway, we are almost done with the 7-mile loop of the Bow-Knot Bend. That means I'm almost 8 miles into my 10-mile journey, and I'm happy about that. There it is, the other side of the Bow-Knot Bend. Quite magnificent, if I do say so myself. So I'm coming up here in a few minutes to the side of this thing, and when I get there, that means I'll be 2/10 of a mile from where I was 7 miles ago. So the Bow-Knot Bend, it's definitely a classic feature right here on the Green River in Utah. You can hear what I'm saying because the wind is kind of crazy. Check out these weird clouds today. What's up with that, man? Very weird. Got really lucky today. We had a couple windy stretches here and there. Well, more than a couple, more like a dozen. But the wind was never nearly as bad as it was when I was here 2 years ago. And now I'm probably a mile or so from camp. So hopefully it'll stay kind of calm like this. Because I'll tell you, when there's water, when there's wind on the water, it's hard to read the river as well. You can't see the shallows as much, and you're not 100% certain, you know, which way to go without getting into some trouble. So I bottomed out a couple times on some sandbars, but thankfully I was able to push myself out.
So after a somewhat windy day off and on, and about 10 miles on the river, I finally was getting closer to Ledge Camp. And here you can see the rest of my party is here unloading the boats, and I'm so glad to finally be here and take a break from paddling. So fast forward to a little while later, and we've got all the canoes unloaded, and we're taking in the view of this beautiful camp. Ledge Camp has been advertised as amazing, and I have to say, it absolutely lives up to that name. Amazing Ledge Camp. I'm just blown away by this entire experience, and now we're going to have a layover camp here. Awesome. Later on, we played the board game Meeple War. This was the second time on this trip. That's because this is a favorite with the group, and I love playing this game too. So much that I ended up with a copy back at home for myself. So after playing Meeple War for a while, the sun started to set. The surrounding landscape was lit up in the evening sun. It was going to be a beautiful night. And of course, dinner a little while later of dirty rice, thanks to Terry. Talk about dinner with a view. Awesome. Speaking of dinner with a view, the sun started to set on the clouds like this just a few minutes later, and I could look over at my tent and just be blown away by where I was going to be camping tonight. The sunsets never disappoint here. And Terry set up the lights again at base camp. These lights were awesome. They illuminated the area and they looked really cool too, especially in the pictures. And of course, you know, what evening wouldn't be complete without a little campfire experience. And as the moon starts to rise above the camp, you realize how awesome this experience really is. Green River Adventure. Morning is here. It's a beautiful day already.
I wandered back down the hillside and took my time as I was really enjoying this spot. Peaceful place with a lot of quiet where you can really get inside your head and think. My thoughts were numerous, and my mind felt like this moment right now was possibly a nice dream, or at the very least a great memory in the making. This place was putting me in a great mood, and I felt like celebrating life again. I enjoyed wandering through the forest like this, and I have ever since I was a kid. Nothing will keep me away from the wilderness. As I continued my short hike to the water, I was feeling the beauty of this area take over my wild spirit. I felt the animal within start to awaken. This was an amazing place, and I felt incredibly thankful to be here. What a great day.
I stayed down by the water and relaxed for over an hour. And a little while later, a whole bunch of boats came by all at once. Turns out this was a bunch of college students on their fall break, and this is what they decided to do. Awesome. And since we were on a layover day and didn't have much else to do, we got out another card game. This one was called 5 Crowns. I've never played it before, but I really enjoyed it. Thanks for bringing it, guys. And since we were on a layover day, everybody decided to jump into the river and cool off. This was Michael. He definitely jumped in more times than the rest of us. As a matter of fact, you'll see here in a second, he even did flips off this little rock cliff into the water. But here's father and son, Michael and Terry, jumping in together. These two guys are awesome. Terry on the left was the team leader here who organized this entire trip. So thank you, Terry. And I just love this moment of father and son jumping into the water together. It's awesome. Everybody was having a good time. And then it was my turn to jump in, and I finally decided to get the nerve to jump off that, and here you go. I have to admit, that water was really cold, but it felt really refreshing because it was probably 80 degrees this day, and it was pretty hot out in the sun.
Woo! Give it a nod.
Oh! Oh man! Oh! Okay. Man, when you hit and you go under, you know, it's like you're in total darkness down there with your eyes closed and like I don't know how far under I was, so I just started, you know. Oh man! All right, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Whew.
Do a hair flip.
There you go.
So after taking a dip in the Green River, I wandered back up to my tent to change my clothes because now I was going to go on a hike.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Be prepared, plan ahead, and prepare for your visit. Let someone know of your plans and consider the weather. There is no cell phone service within the canyon, although I had no problem connecting with loved ones with my Garmin GPS unit. Please leave no trace of your visit so others can enjoy this beautiful place too. And I will say this, camping is a lot of work, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I absolutely love everything about camping and plan to continue for years to come. I felt stronger this morning and had a good rhythm going as I hiked down the trail. I could feel my hiker legs coming alive in the early morning air. On our way up, we passed many interesting rock formations. The hiking was rugged but rewarding. The land is just as wild and rugged today as it ever was. I couldn't help myself. I continued capturing video of everything. All around me was some beautiful landscape, and I wanted to take it all in while I was here. I love to capture nice moments and experiences, and then I have it documented and I can edit it down as a memory to share. This was a trip I would never forget. This was an amazing place, and I felt incredibly thankful to be here.
I've had the good fortune to be able to live in the American Southwest since 1998. I've taken a lot of advantage of being here by getting out and doing trips like this, hiking, backpacking, camping, and canoeing. Look at this place, it's incredibly awesome. And like every good journey, it must come to an end eventually. But not before there's a few surprises along the way. Little did I know, I was about to see something unusual. I climbed up to the top, I took a look around, and I realized, wow, this place is amazing. So there you go, helicopter flew by. That was pretty low and that was interesting, something a little bit different. But as I stood here, I was also above our camp. This is the camp that we all call Ledge Camp because it's on a big ledge above the river, and you can see it's spacious and a lot of shade as well, which is a bonus when it gets a little bit hot out here during the daytime. And then time for some dronification by Matt the Southwest Backpacker. Check this out. Matt the Southwest Backpacker continued to fly the drone over me. And wait for a moment here, folks, because he pulls this drone up in the air and you get a view of our camp and the surrounding canyon land, and it's absolutely beautiful. I have to thank Matt the Southwest Backpacker, that's him right there on the shore, for providing such awesome footage and allowing me to be able to use this in my channel, because this is beautiful. Here you can see him flying up to the Bow-Knot Bend where it just begins. That little spire of rock on the right there that's kind of by itself, in the low spot, that's where you top out at on the trail. The interesting thing about this is that you're only 2/10 of a mile from where the river connects again, but it takes 7 miles of canoeing around the Bow-Knot Bend to get to the other side. What an awesome place. I just love being able to get into the outdoors and explore like this. Nothing makes me happier than just being surrounded by nature and getting to take in these magnificent views.
I wandered back down the hillside and took my time as I was really enjoying this spot. Peaceful place with a lot of quiet where you can really get inside your head and think. My thoughts were numerous, and my mind felt like this moment right now was possibly a nice dream, or at the very least a great memory in the making. This place was putting me in a great mood, and I felt like celebrating life again. What a great day. I knew I was fortunate to be here, and I was not going to take any of this for granted. I wanted to take it all in. I wanted to be a part of it all. I could hear the rocks, the trees, the wind, and the sky talking to me. And they were all saying the same thing. Respect us, and you are welcome here anytime. Respect I did, and I felt truly thankful to be welcomed here. A GPS and a map along with good navigation skills are strongly recommended. This area can be extremely hot during spring, summer, and fall, so carry plenty of water and wear appropriate clothing. It is also advisable to bring some snacks with you while hiking here, and don't forget to bring a first aid kit just in case. One last thought. No amount of gear is guaranteed to make a hike 100% safe. Only good judgment and experience can help with that. So enjoy, be safe, take only photographs, and leave only footprints. The landscape felt so alive and full of intense colors. It had me wishing I was an artistic painter and had supplies with me to stop and paint this beautiful desert landscape.
But alas, I am not a painter. But I am a videographer. I'm able to capture these moments through the magic of video and a little bit of editing when I get home. And just being here in this environment and getting to see this video again makes me smile. I remember exactly what it felt like to be here this day, and it was great.
It was like I was in a dream that I never wanted to wake up from. I was still on the hike, but I was in the memory of the hike at the same time. What an unusual feeling. The best rewards come from honest hard work. Sometimes the amount of work ahead of us seems overwhelming. So just think about that next step, that next section of forest, that next stream crossing. Take one step at a time, and before you know it, there you are. Remember that life is a journey, not a destination. True beauty comes from within, and life is whatever you make it.
Yes, life is whatever we make it. And I hope that I've made my life a good one so far. And having experiences like this have definitely led me to believe that I'm on the right track. Thanks everybody for having me on this trip.
This campsite was amazing, and I couldn't stop smiling. The weather was perfect, and so was this spot. I sat down with my dinner and took a big sniff. It smelled absolutely delicious.
Special thanks to Terry and Matt for providing dinner every single night. It was always yummy. And then the sun started to set. I just was taking in this magnificent view and realizing this was my house for tonight. The sun set on the rocks around us. It started to really get cool outside. It just felt awesome.
Another peaceful, beautiful camp spot. Served us well. Thank you, Ledge Camp.
Ledge Camp was indeed beautiful. Getting to spend 2 days here and 2 nights was awesome because you get twice as many sunsets and beautiful moments just like this. I was so happy to be here. I couldn't stop smiling. My face was starting to hurt from smiling all day long. That was a problem that I enjoyed having. Thank you, Ledge Camp.
As I sat there and caught my breath, I looked around in wonder and felt truly fortunate to be alive. What a great day. Here I was having a peaceful moment and not a city anywhere nearby. This was truly amazing. My brain face had a smile on it, and I was a very happy camper. This was our last night here. I was both happy and sad. However, the campfire is always cheerful and warm. We sat here for hours and really enjoyed our last evening. A little while later, we told ghost stories before eventually heading to our tents for some much needed sleep. This was yet another amazing day.
Terry set up the lights again at base camp. These lights were awesome. They illuminated the area and they looked really cool too, especially in the pictures. And of course, you know, what evening wouldn't be complete without a little campfire experience.
It was our 7th and last day here on the Green River. Welcome to Chapter 7, Ledge Camp to Mineral Bottom. We got up extra early this day, around 5:30 in the morning, to pack all the gear and get the canoes ready. We wanted to get an early start because our takeout was at 11 a.m. at Mineral Bottom, and we wanted to stop along the way to check out some historical inscriptions on the walls, but more about that later.
7:05, we're on the water. Friday, last paddle here. We will be doing about 8 miles to the takeout, which should place us down there around 10 a.m. and we need to be there by 11, so we'll be there an hour early. We'll get the boats unloaded, get the boats cleaned out of all the mud, and ready to go for when the outfitter comes to pick us up. So good morning, Green River. How are ya? Last time I was here in 2019, this canyon that you see about middle of frame there is called 2 Mile Canyon. And that's where we camped on the last night. Actually, I think we had a layover here too. We had 2 nights here because we did a hike up to the windows from here. Last time we couldn't get ledge camp, so we got 2 Mile Canyon camp instead. A little bit further to get into the camp as far as hiking and bringing in your gear, but it's a nice spot, and it shaved a mile or so off of our hike. Well, actually 2 miles because of round trip of doing the windows. So yeah, there you go. 2 Mile Canyon. Beautiful. All right, folks, your friendly neighborhood James Blackburn here. It's day 7 of 7 here on the Green River. 7 days, 6 nights. Canoeing, camping, hanging out with my friends. I have to say, as we paddle the last few miles out here, it's kind of bittersweet. You know, it's bitter that it's over, but it's sweet that it's over at the same time. Because going home is always a wonderful thing. I have a great partner, great cat, and a great house. I have a really awesome job, and I work for really great people, and you know, it's not the worst life in the world to go back to, that's for sure. But I will say this, I am exhausted. It has been physically demanding, this trip. As much as I love being out here, there is no doubt in my mind that it's work. You know, paddling half a day and then setting up camp and then hiking half a day and then doing it again the next day. Thankfully we had a couple layover days on this one, which was really nice. You know, just being able to relax at a tent and a campsite without having to break down your gear every single morning and get started by 7 a.m. Those layover days are pure gold for me personally. I suppose if I did this more often and I was in a little better shape, this wouldn't be as intense to me or physically demanding. But I am 50 years old. It's the oldest I've ever been. I'm still getting used to it. Hill.com. It's a wonderful, beautiful life. But there are moments and folks that you meet along the way that make you realize life is beautiful. And it is a gift, and we're lucky to be here. Truly fortunate. So take what time you have, love, hate, and take care of each other.
A lot of folks ask me, what do I mean by saying love, hate, take care of each other? It's fairly self-explanatory, but basically what I'm saying is the only thing you should love, and the only thing you should hate is hate. And taking care of each other, we need to lift each other up on this planet. Take care of each other.
Good morning, neighbors. How goes it? What a perfect morning so far, huh?
And a perfect morning it was. Look at those beautiful clouds. The weather was nice. It was cool out. It was cloudy. And we were able to go along here and see more wildlife. I swear I saw these birds every single day, and it was awesome. And seeing them fly, it's even better in slow motion. What can I say? Look at that. To me, there's something really cool about going down the river like this and paddling a canoe. Just being here in the Canyonlands was absolutely amazing, and the Green River, it never disappoints. Look how beautiful this place is. I was incredibly happy to get to visit here. Although it was my last day, so I was feeling a little sad at the same time. I knew that the paddling I was doing now was going to be some of my last on the Green River for this particular year. But that's okay. Life moves on, and the next day, something else happens. You know, the sun always rises, somewhere at least. This morning I was catching the current just right. I was actually making some really good time here, but at some point I thought I might want to slow down and relax a little bit so I didn't get to the takeout point too soon. But you can tell I'm cooking here pretty good. So I slowed down the canoe and just took in the view for a while. I couldn't stop smiling as I did. Like I say in every video, my face is starting to hurt from smiling so much. And that's a problem that I enjoy having. And once again, here are two of my best friends in the world. Terry in the blue shirt in the back, and in the front paddling is Matt, the Southwest backpacker. These two guys, I've known them for several years now, and I can't thank them enough for allowing me to be able to come along and enjoy these sort of experiences together. Thank you guys. It means a lot to me. Much appreciated. A little while later, we all docked our boats on the sand to go on a short hike to this awesome spot to check out some historic inscriptions. The hike was not too bad. It was actually fairly short, maybe a half mile at the most, maybe less. You arrive here at the base of this rock where the famous Denis Julian inscription exists. Don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but I hope I am. He was a French-Canadian fur trapper whose presence is best documented through his inscriptions. The inscription is on the National Register of Historic Places. It is illegal to damage this significant inscription. So after a quick day hike, we were back at the canoes and on our way. It was fun to stop here and check it out, but like all good things, this too shall pass. We are on our way down the river. You can see I'm hitting the current here again, and Mineral Bottom isn't too far away. Green River. What an awesome, beautiful place. Since this was our last paddle on the Green River, we were all staying close together because we wanted to get down the Mineral Bottom about the same time to take out. There was going to be an awful lot of stuff to unpack once we got to Mineral Bottom, and we wanted to do it as a team.
Follow the foam. The foam on the water shows you where the current is the most strongest, so you can get in this foam river here and kind of just gives you a little extra boost in speed. Like all good things in life, this has to come to an end. I'm still here about the last mile of the paddle. Almost 50 miles of solo canoeing. First time in my life to do something this big and this epic. I'm kind of happy and sad that it's ending. I don't know how else to describe it. This was one heck of a vacation. I'm a half-century old. I'm still out doing crazy stuff. What is life if you don't live it? You gotta get out, gotta push the limits, gotta go above and beyond if you can, while at the same time not hurting anyone else to move forward. That's really the secret to life right there. Move forward, but don't hurt anybody to do it.
Yes. Always be moving forward. Just don't hurt anybody to do it. That's a good philosophy to have in life. Do what you can to be productive, while at the same time taking care of the planet and each other. We want to save beautiful places like this for future generations. I can't believe I'm so fortunate to even be here in the first place.
Mineral Bottom is within sight. Can't believe I did it. 50 miles solo canoeing the Green River. 7 days, 6 nights, 7 friends. So the other 3 canoes had 2 people each, and then the 4th canoe, me, I did a solo. And I'm still kind of blown away by it. Not only that, but I'll be feeling it for about a week because I am sore and achy and tired. That's tired with extra tired in it. Yeah. Mineral Bottom, here I come, Green River.
After 7 days and 6 nights and almost 50 miles on the Green River, my journey was now coming to an end. I was about to arrive at Mineral Bottom, which you can see here where all the canoes are already pulled up and waiting. I couldn't believe that I did all this and solo canoed it on top of that. Just because I solo canoed it doesn't mean I did it alone. There was 7 people on this trip total, counting myself, and every single one of them was a blessing to have here and helped make this trip a better trip in every single way. Thank you all. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. Here I am, arriving at Mineral Bottom on the Green River. The feeling I had at this point was happiness and sadness at the same time. Happy that I got to have this wonderful journey, but sad that it was coming to an end. I felt like I could still be out here for a couple more days, and I would absolutely love it. But, like I said before, all good things must come to an end, and this trip was no exception. And it looks like I'm going to hit her in the leg here, but thankfully I didn't. I'm so happy that I didn't bump
Out for
her.
your leg there, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I can't believe I did it, but here I am. The boats were starting to be unpacked, and we were about ready to meet up with the outfitter, but not before some beauty shots of the local area. Made sure the canoes were all properly rinsed out first and ready to go. Boy, it looks like we had a lot of gear here for 7 people, but you gotta remember, 7 people, 7 days, 6 nights. We needed a lot of food, water, and shelter. So that's what all that was. Thank you, Mineral Bottom. This place is awesome. It's my second time being here, and I'll be forever thankful. And after a while, everything was packed in the trailer, including the canoes. And we took a break and got some more photos. Or should I say I took another break and got more photos. Just wanted to document what Mineral Bottom was all about and Labyrinth Canyon. Look these places up online, folks. You'll absolutely love anything you read about this place. There's history, there's geography, there's all this beauty. I can't stop smiling even right now while I'm doing my voiceover. I'm remembering how beautiful this was and how nice and warm out it was. The Green River, Utah, a true paradise. As the outfitter took us out on the dirt road and back to Moab, our trip was complete and our hearts were full. Our souls were recharged. Remember, folks, life is beautiful if you know where to look. Keep your eyes, your heart, and your mind open. It just might lead you somewhere special. Thank you for watching the James Blackburn Experience. Be sure to check my YouTube channel for almost 900 additional video adventures. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.